We are live at the city council meeting. There's Gary, there's Pete,
V for victory.
Dana Enrigo, PJ, Jason Schmoozen, council members up there, city attorney keeping us from reading her lips. Okay, so yeah, we're at the library, and this is the thing. Let me show you this. Hang on. So go to the City of Whitney website, right there on Boil Water Notice Rescinded. I mean, that's how fast it is. cityofwhitneytx.org, and you can see if there's any emergency safety notice. It's right on the landing page. And we've got a lot of budget stuff today, and this is where I always show people. This is my Facebook page, my council member Facebook page. You can see when I don't stand for the pledge. If you go to my featured posts, I give an accounting of that here. So don't be surprised. This is it. Oh, and I can't get it to scroll. It's not touching. Let's see. Whoops. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, there's explanations there, more in the comments. I'm going to go take my seat now.
I don't know who this person is. Other than Joe.
Okay. I'm walking away now.
Okay. These boots are made for walking.
These are. The other ones were.
Pizza. From what I could tell, it was really bad. So I don't subscribe to those organizations. And all of a sudden, from 18 years ago or whatever. Heard that. Some people accumulate more and faster than others. The problem is nothing. When it became to a center, then I forget what 3 different properties worth at least $50 million. Oh, yeah. Oh. Leslie Racine. She's not necessarily. She's kind of a power.
Here. Cheryl Taylor West. Here. Jason Ince. Here. All members are present. We have a quorum.
Indications,
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us together here tonight. Lord, we ask for wisdom and your guidance. We ask that all those present here do the best for our community. Lord, guide us as we go forward. Forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
On 5, public comments and receipt of petitions. At this time, anyone will be allowed to speak on any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere on the agenda for a length of time not to exceed 4 minutes. No council or discussion or action may take place on a matter until such matter has been placed on an agenda and posted in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551.042. We'll go in at 6:01. Our first speaker is Denise Moore.
All right. My name is Denise Moore, founder and CEO of Pause Place Rescue. Tonight, I just want to take a few minutes to share some of the positive things that are happening with Pause Place Rescue and what we're doing in Whitney. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission goes beyond simply rescuing animals. We want to help keep pets with their families whenever possible and provide resources our community can actually use. We offer rescue and rehoming assistance, TNR for community cats, a pet food pantry, microchipping, free community obedience training, our Pets and Vets campaign, and educational and emergency resources for pet owners. We are having a Pet Emergency Preparedness Day on September 12th as well. We are also very excited that our new indoor rescue building is almost finished. Right now, our two biggest remaining needs are finishing the bathroom and installing insulation. We are asking our community for help getting us across that finish line, whether that is a financial donation, materials, skilled labor, sponsorship, or simply sharing our mission. Every bit of support makes a difference. We know we cannot save every animal or solve every problem, but we can continue showing up, providing resources, educating our community, and doing everything we can reasonably for the people and animals of Whitney. We are excited about what the future holds for Pause Place Rescue, and we would love to have more of our community involved. Thank you for your time and all your support.
Thank you. Dana?
Good evening, Chamber. My name is Dana Prius. I reside in the city of Whitney. It is my pleasure to share with the community that the Miss Lake Whitney pageant Contestants' applications were launched online today at tinyurl.com, Miss Lake Whitney. We also have some paper copies tonight if anyone would like those. I'm going to repeat the link at tinyurl.com/Miss Lake Whitney, no spaces. And you can also send us an email at misslakewhitneypageant@gmail.com with your girl's name and ages, and we will send you a packet. The Miss Lake Whitney pageant will be Saturday, September the 26th from 1 to 7 at Whitney ISD Auditorium. I would like to tell you that we put a committee together in exactly 1 day after the chamber canceled the chamber pageant. We have worked hard to make this a success for the girls. The coolest part about this pageant is that we will be celebrating not only America's 250th birthday, but Whitney's 150th celebration of being an organized community. We will also be hosted by the Lions Club. They stepped up to sponsor this event. It is also their 95th charter anniversary, so they're going to be celebrating with us. Our contestants will compete in 4 age groups. We will have a tiny miss, a little miss, a junior miss, and a miss. Our entry fee is only $25. It says proceeds from this particular pageant will benefit the Whitney Parks Board and Paul Place Rescue right here in Whitney, Texas. We're also excited this year that we're going to be offering a scholarship to one lucky senior. And this is going to be from the pageant itself. We want to thank you guys so much for your time tonight. Be sure to find the Miss Lake Whitney pageant event on Facebook and share it around. I also want to share one thing. On every one of the Miss Lake Whitney pageant forms, at the bottom, it's going to say 1 John 4:8. Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. And this is going to be our motto. Our girls are going to be required, if they win, to do 6 hours of community service in the city of Whitney. We're asking people, old Miss Lake Whitneys, to send in pictures, which we've already gotten a lot. We're also going to have a photo contest with the girls. And it's going to be, they're going to take pictures around the city, places, businesses, and that's going to be at the pageant. We're here to celebrate Whitney, and we're here to celebrate all the good. I would like to thank, we have a whole bunch of sponsors, but mostly Whitney ISD. Thank you for stepping up. Brittany Hamilton she's going to do the lake photo, and also Pizza Junction for giving to our girls. Thank y'all very much, and thank you, Whitney, Texas.
Thank you. Peter?
Good evening, Peter Rich. I just wanted to congratulate my friend who got back in March or April. I asked ChatGPT, and according to Chat, only 10 such certifications were issued in the entire state of Texas last year, and on average, it's between 10 and 20 per year for the whole state. So I think that's a pretty impressive addition to your resume, and I respect your willingness to sacrifice time and treasure to serve your community. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. We'll come out at 6:02. We're going to move down to line item 8. Deliberate and act and receive information regarding city employee health insurance for the fiscal year 2026-2027 and designated employee plan.
Good evening. Please apologize for my attire tonight. I'm headed straight to a football game. My son's a senior, and I don't miss any sporting events of his, so I'll be running just as fast as I can out of here. But I appreciate your time tonight. We're going to go through, as your agent, my job is to go out, shake the market, see what else is out there. When I started doing insurance about 10 years ago, the market was small. There were about 5 carriers that you'd go to every year, and they were all pretty similar. Health insurance has changed a lot, probably back the last 3 years. We're quoting normally 5 carriers, now we're quoting up to 25 carriers. Things you've never heard of, carriers like Gravy, Sidecar, names that you would be like, nah, that's a health insurance company. But they're changing the health insurance for the better, and there's not competition. And when it just gets to be the top 3, top 5 carriers, they kind of all start doing everything the same, and they kind of corner the market. So it's been good. You guys have been on Curative. That was a new carrier to the market. Kind of like when we explained last time, the county moved to it. I had over 200 clients move to Curative. Like I told you guys when we first moved there, it's kind of like moving out of your rent house to a mansion. I don't know how long that mansion's going to be there, but let's go live in that mansion for as long as we can. Curative was good to us. Your employees got a chance and an opportunity to have $0 out of their pocket, $0 copays, $0 co-insurance, $0 deductibles, the whole 9 yards. Everything was $0 once the premium was paid. But we'll jump in this packet here, the blue package you guys have. We're going to go through the ancillary benefits first. We did go to the market on the ancillary benefits, but Principal, which is your current carrier, came back with the best rates. On this front page, just kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like. Your renewal date's October 1st. You did get a 19.7% increase, but only on one line. So don't think that's a 19% increase on everything across the board. And that was just your group term life. The way that term life is rated on age. So your average age went up a little bit this year, and so those rates went up. The next page is your renewal rates on volume. Your current rate was 0.0279, or 0.279, now it's 0.334. So that is your difference in rate on your group term life insurance. The next page is your accident, death, and dismemberment. That stayed the same. You got a rate pass on that. The next page is your voluntary life. You got a rate pass on that. The following page is dental and vision. You also received a rate pass on that. So overall, for your ancillary benefits, the one line that went up was just that one line there of our group term life insurance. So it's our recommendation. We've had great success with Principal. They're good on the billing. They're good on service. We spoke to some of the city admin and some of the employees, and it seems like that's probably the best route to go is to stay with them on for our ancillary benefits. In that packet there as well, after we get through the ancillary benefit, you'll see a page. I'm sorry, I didn't number them. I should have numbered them for you guys. It looks like this. And that's going to tell you who we went out to quote for. These are just the ones that are on paper. We have about 10 more, like I said, the boxcars and the gravies and all those that we didn't list on here because I could give you 3 pages. But the main ones we quoted were Baylor Scott and White, a difference card, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, and you're currently with Curative. So tell me, kind of tell you a little bit about Curative and where we are with Curative. When I walked into the office to let everyone know what it was going to look like this year, it was a little disappointing. Curative has been squeezed out of the market, in my concern. They lost the contract with Providence, which is extension, in January 1st. Like I said, there's a lot of big insurance companies out there in the world, and you know, your Blue Cross Blue Shields, your Baylor Scott and White, your Cignas, your Aetnas, your Cignas, they have a lot of members, so they have a lot of buying power. So when they go to these hospital networks, they say, hey, why is Curative getting the same rates that we're getting? And so they kind of start squeezing on Curative. And so Curative was using an old contract that was made back in the 1980s. So it wasn't the best rates. And so Curative said, well, the only way for us to survive is to go out and renegotiate these contracts. When they did so, that's when the squeeze came. And so a lot of these hospital networks wouldn't agree to the rates that Curative needed to survive. And so, yeah, Curative's still in business today. The problem is they don't have Extension, which is a big hospital network in Central Texas. And we're being told by Baylor Scott and White and other members, and then also from Curative, who won't answer the emails that ask the question, are you renewing your contract with Baylor Scott and White, which is the other major hospital network in Waco. So if you lose one, and then now you lose two, it's essentially not worth the paper it's printed on. So we don't want to put you back in that situation. Yeah, we could renew for a month, and then cross our fingers and hope they renew with Baylor Scott and White. But as Hub International, we're the 5th largest broker in the world. We know things a little sooner than most brokers know it. They're not going to renew. So it's our recommendation, even though Curative did provide us with a renewal, is not to accept Curative's renewal and not really even acknowledge that they're a player in this decision tonight. That first page is Curative's renewal on the left. The next plan there is a Baylor Scott and White plan that we're looking at. It's a $7,500 plan. It's an HSA plan, but we won't be treating it as an HSA plan, so employees won't be can't contribute to that plan because we're gonna try to pair it with what is called a MERP. MERP is new to the market. When I say new, it's been around 5 or 10 years, but it's an opportunity. It's almost similar to a co-insurance, and so what they're gonna do is rate you guys on your claims to what they believe the claim should be. If you go over those claims, they pick up the rest. If you stay under those claims, then you get whatever's left in the bucket, and that goes back towards to buy down your premium next year in a check from them. So that plan is a $7,500 deductible plan. We've got a couple different options to choose from. That other blue page that I handed you as well is another option. But what we'd like to do is there's two opportunities that I like. One is the first $4,000 of that $7,500 deductible is paid for with what is called a difference card. So it's a medically coded Visa card that all employees would receive. It pays that first $4,000 of the plan. The last $3,550 they would be responsible for. The good news is most people don't. It's usually about 15% of your plan actually hit the deductible. So 85% are not. So 85% are still going to see that $0 everything, or at least for that first $4,000. And hopefully they don't go over that, but it's just, for a pricing, that's the way we kind of have to do it. So that first plan, rate for an employee only is $956.60. That's what the first $4,000 covered of that $7,550 plan. On the blue sheet, you also have another option that pays the first $5,000 of the $7,550. So the responsibility of the employee, if they were to meet that $5,000 on that card, would be $2,550. The other good thing on this plan is even once you max out that card, so I kind of do it like this. It's kind of like a Visa gift card. Once you run out of that money, there's nothing left, and so you're responsible with the rest. But having first dollar coverage is big. You could go to a health reimbursement arrangement, but then you're having to have people submit claims and evidence of benefits, and then you're going back to them. And so essentially they're paying out of their pocket, they're coming back to you. There's that administrative piece of having to get them money back and EOBs can sometimes take up to 90 to 120 days. And so you don't really want your employees having to wait on that money and having to come out of pocket if we've got another solution that gives them first dollar coverage. So my recommendation is a Baylor Scott and White plan. It's a PPO plan. The way Baylor Scott and White works on their PPO plan on this plan is they're in 140 counties in the state of Texas. They have a base. They have a hospital network in 140 counties. Outside those 140 counties, I think there's 254 counties in Texas, if I'm right. In those other counties, Baylor Scott and White would not be your primary, but it would actually be United Healthcare. So United Healthcare has a PPO network that essentially Baylor Scott and White is renting outside of their base network. So no difference to an employee. They're going to still present that card, and on that card it says Baylor Scott and White, and then it also has United Healthcare. So we educate all the employees. We sit down with every employee at open enrollment, check their doctors, make sure they're in network. If they're not, we find them an in-network doctor. We also teach them how to download the Baylor Scott and White app to make it easy anytime you're looking for a doctor or a clinic or a hospital to make sure it's in network. Because when it's in network, this card's going to pay for it up to the first $4,000. Like I said, when that $4,000 or the $5,000, whichever plan you guys pick here, runs out, On the pharmacy piece, it still pays for their prescriptions up to 80% of the prescription cost. So prescriptions are included in that first 4,000 or 5,000, whichever one we choose. So they're able to use that when they go fill prescriptions as well. Any questions? I'm not going to do a lot at you. The difference in the cost, like I said, the employee only rate's $956 on the one that's the first 4,000. The rate is $993 when we pay the first 5,000 of the $7,550. So, a difference of $40 per employee rate to the city.
Did you say that, for clarification, that this would be between the employer and the insurance company? There's no city staff having to communicate in between?
Right. Well, we do use your admin to do some of that, so Christy is involved in the process. We have a team that helps her on anything she's got. We also have the ability to do claims, any of the claims processing. We just have to have the employee fill out a PHI form, and then we're able to get in it and help them in any billing we do. Unfortunately, insurance billing is not easy. It's not easy for anybody. I tell my wife, don't pay it until you get to the third one, and she's like, are they going to come after us? I'm like, no, because they're going to try to get you first, and they're not going to hit the insurance first, so we want to make sure insurance is being billed. The good thing is with this card, we ask them, as long as we're in network, we use that card, and so we're good. This is similar to Hill County's plan. Hill County pays 100% of it. They're able to pick up that cost. But also Bosque County is using a similar option. Freestone County is using a similar option. So this is kind of unique to the county business, this way of doing things, just because everyone's got used to that $0 coverage from Curative, and so we kind of got spoiled, which is a good thing. It's a benefit, right? We want to offer great benefits to our employees. That's what keeps them here. But we have to keep it with what we can afford. So my recommendation would be either the $4,000 plan with the card, or the $5,000, whichever one kind of fits your guys' price point, I guess.
Mayor and council, when we figured the budget and the initial factoring of the numbers, I believe we actually used the $796.96 PPO plan because we figured $1,000 per employee in our rate, but that's including all the ancillary stuff. So if we do either one of these, we're going to need to make some adjustments. Am I wrong?
The ancillary amounts are not, they're like $30 per employee.
It came out to be like $150 something.
That's for the month, for all employees.
So we figured $1,000 a month per employee in the budget. That's what it's figured. So that's how we've figured the numbers. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how that landed. It's got to be, so that rate is for the ancillaries, that's for all employees, all 20 employees is $100 and something a month?
So it looks like dental for everyone is $953 for the year. Vision's $193.90 for people that are on the plan right now.
Then you take 2715, 619, just that alone is $33, and the group life insurance is like pennies on the dollar. So, I mean, even at that, we're still under what we budgeted for each employee for health insurance.
Your vision's like $6 per employee.
So to be clear, if we went with the proposed plan of the white difference card at $958.60, that's the rate for an employee per month. With all the ancillaries added up, we would still be under $1,000, which is what we factored into the budget.
Dental, vision, and life is what we're paying ancillary, right?
Yeah.
Yes, be good.
And that's one at the 5,000.
That was at the 4,000. So, you get it.
There's a selection of doctors and pharmacists that all comply?
Yes, ma'am.
All good?
Yes. In the Extension Hospital is actually, even though it's a Baylor Scott and White plan in Waco, they make an exception. So the Extension Hospital is in network, and some their specialists are not. So it's just something. And we, like I said, we overeducate everyone. We sit down and make sure they know what doctors are in network, what doctors are not, and how to use that tool when they're searching. Because the last thing we want to do is for somebody to go out of network and receive a charge that they shouldn't have to when there's lots and lots of doctors and hospitals in the Baylor Scott and White network. And then if they decide they want to go outside that base 140 county network, so like your UT Southwest and Tyler, if you want to go to the Tyler Hospital or Tyler Doctors, you would use that UHC to go there and you have no problems as well. So it's a big, it covers the whole state. And it's a PPO network, which actually means it covers the entire nation. So outside of Texas, you've got a United Healthcare PPO, which is the biggest network there is.
I'll make a motion that we go with the recommendation from our broker for the Baylor Scott and White at the $4,000 prepaid.
And that's with the difference card.
I have a motion from Jason Sneed, a second from Vicki Wilson to accept the recommendation with the difference card. Jason Ince,
Yes.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Jason Sneed,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Amy Teal.
Abstain.
4 yeses, 1 abstain, motion passes.
Thank you.
Do we need to do the principal for the ancillary? Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Go Wildcats.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll go holler for you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Consent agenda, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted in one motion. Should a council member desire discussion of any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. On item 6, act on approving the minutes for the regular meeting on July 16, 2026, and a special meeting on July 30, 2026. On item 7, act on approving the city of Whitney expense reports and register report for July 2026.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to pull 7, and can we go ahead and move 6 and get that out of the way?
We can.
I'll second on the move for 6.
All right, so I guess we're waiting on a motion from, on the minutes.
Motion is second.
Oh, okay. Amy? Okay. Jason Ince,
Yes.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Jason Sneed,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West. Yes. Amy Teal,
Yes.
5 yeses, motion passes.
On item 7, act on approving the city of Whitney expense reports and register report for July 2026.
All right, so I have been pulling these from consent agenda. Going over city spending is one of the things that is what we're doing here. This is the kind of thing that I am very glad that the city has put this on the agenda packet online. So if you are following along on Facebook or in the audience, you can go to the City of Whitney website, go to the agenda section, pull up the files. It's a 122-page packet for this meeting. And you can see not only these check register reports, but they have been printing the entire audit trail for all that kind of stuff. So that when we're looking at stuff like 7/9/26, about a bottle of baby aspirin for $3.14. So we're not seeing the stuff like, $500 hammers in here, and you can see everything and it's online. I did want to go back and had a couple questions.
On the check register, page 4, we've got the audit services for $22,420, and that covers 1 year. Can you explain how that works for the public?
Yes, so they cover one, they've been working on the 1-year audit for that one.
All right.
And it's $22,000.
They
That's
put
not all.
it in a
There's
lot of.
multiple, it's more than that. We budget 50,000 every year.
Yeah, and that's where we can go back to on the expenditure accounts, and we can see that part too. So this is a really good system for being able to track where these expenses are showing up every month, where they were budgeted, and then the audit trail of breaking it all down. Thank you. And on page 4 of the statement of revenue and expenditures, under the police department, I had public works part first. That's where sidewalks come in, right?
In the streets, yes.
I know that,
Yes.
Baker Insurance downtown has had some issues with that sidewalk. I think they were talking about someone was injured, broken arm or a leg or something like that. So I don't know what you guys want to do with the budget moving forward. Do you have information on that particular?
If you remember in the budget meeting, we talked about putting $150,000 in major repairs into that category, so that's streets and can be,
So,
major repairs doesn't have to be streets.
but if we use that $150,000 on a sidewalk downtown, then we have nothing in the budget to fix a road.
That's, we're allocating $150,000 in major repairs. How that money gets divvied up will be how the council decides to spend that money.
Yeah, that's good. That's what I wanted to just make sure was on the record for people to understand, that we can't just fix every single thing. On the police department and salaries, is Officer Bentley still on staff, or is he out?
He was only a reserve officer, he was never a paid officer.
Okay, at all, gotcha. But he's gone?
Chief Stoles?
Yes, he's no longer with us.
Okay, all right. And then over in the Parks Department, I know we talked about that $10,000 donation, and then I had asked for a copy of all the different donations we have. Is there a way to make sure those are included maybe alongside the budget at the workshop? Because I know if we're trying to do a budget and allocate money, it helps to know what's over here in this other account. Because I don't think a lot of us knew that was really available. And then over in the water sewer fund. We were talking about phone alerts, and that would be covered under that account, right? For that.
Hold on, say that one more time.
For the phone alerts for the boil water notice, that would be covered under the water and sewer fund?
Well, it would be under their IT repairs and maintenance. It's a module of Edmunds, and so that's where that will be going.
So when people are looking at that IT and maintenance line item, this is the kind of stuff that's covered under that. Okay, I think that's it for me. I would, even though I absolutely appreciate this entire audit trail being printed, I would like to recommend to staff that they continue posting the audit trail on the public packet, but not necessarily printing it for all of us. I think it's important to make it available. And I guess that's up to each council member whether they want to have the paper copy or not. I'm okay with the digital copy. And if there's no other discussion, I'll move adoption of the expense report.
Second that.
I got a motion from Amy Teal, a second from Jason Sneed to approve the expense reports and register report for July 2026. Jason Hicks?
Yes.
Vicki Wilson?
Yes.
Jason Sneed?
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West?
Yes.
Amy Teal?
No.
Got 4 yeses, 1 no. Motion passes.
And now down to department reports, the mayor's report, budget survey results. We sent that out, I'm not exactly sure when we sent it out, but we've got 35 total responses. 29 were total valid responses on the summary below, and the priorities are water and sewer, in this order: water and sewer, streets and sidewalks, fiscal restraint, police, fire, and EMS, parks, recreation, economic development, animal services, accountability, and the library is at 15%. So we have the Department of Emergency Services.
Oh, real quick, I would like to just object to the fact that 6 were not included. When I was looking at that, several of those were spouses. And even though they're at the same address, they are still 2 distinct people. I guarantee that the survey from me is not gonna look like my husband's, and I'm sure there's a few others out there like that. I would really encourage the city to not exclude stuff like that next year. And I know Cheryl had one that was excluded, and that was an actual conversation with the residents. So I would like to just see that change next year.
Okay, Department of Emergency Services.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Council. So on July's calls, we ran fire and EMS 224 calls total. On the EMS side, we ran 68 calls, 65 were inside the city, 3 calls were out in the county and mutual aid and care flight. Our average response time was 5.7 minutes in the city and 6 minutes out in the county. The reason why our city response time is kind of climbing because we're actually catching multiple calls while we're clearing. 2 of them we were still in Hillsborough coming back in town. We caught the calls. So on the fire side, we ran 165 calls. We ran 10 fire calls in the city, 26 fire calls out in the county. We ran 55 first responder calls in the city, 65 first responder calls in the county. So the second quarter of 2026, Whitney Fire Department was the busiest fire department in the county. We had, and this includes both city and county calls, the fire department was dispatched to 689 calls. The closest department, that was in second place, I guess you could say, was 242. This side of the county is definitely high. We also ran and also did this last month 4 safety surveys were done, and we pre-checked 2 CLs, but they weren't cleared yet.
Okay, thank you. Police Department, code compliance.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. Last month, July, Police Department responded to a total of 294 incidents, calls for service, resulting in 6 arrests, conducted 84 traffic stops, resulting in 106 citations or warnings. On the animal control code enforcement side, we had a total of 9 calls for service involving animals, and then code enforcement complaints, we handled 14.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask
Public
real
Works.
quick about the animal control calls?
Mhm.
Since we've got pause place here, could you just kind of go over those 9, just real quick? Not necessarily point by point, but what
Yeah, I'm trying to think all 9 calls, but we had a few of them that were removal of animals, a couple of them which were like wildlife, like possums inside a house. We also worked one that had to do with possible animal cruelty, an additional animal cruelty that we're investigating. And the other ones, we also had if I recall correctly, an animal that was struck by a vehicle, which we took that call, and we were actually trying to locate the person who did that as well. The other 2, I would just say, were just random dog orders that we got back to the property. So.
Okay, thank you.
Public Works. Is there anybody here?
I'll cover this because Mark was not able to be here tonight.
His report was, they had 5
Water leaks completed, a sinkhole repaired, equipment status, GMC truck being repaired, shift cable and radiator. They had 6 water calls and 3 sewer calls.
Thank you. And Billy, would this departmental report be a good place to talk about the boil water notice and the residents that were concerned about not getting a phone alert?
Yeah, so the city hasn't had phone alerts in a while from what we can determine. I've worked here 7 years and it hasn't been a thing. So, with that being said, we actually did more whenever I reported how we did it to the TCQ. And they said, you did more than most people ever do. So unfortunately, that's not a great system. But again, fortunately, the city of Whitney does not experience these things very often. The last time we had to do this was in 2021. So there's always room for improvement. However, on the 13th, even before this was a thing, I signed a PO to get a notification system that works specifically inside of our water billing system. Because there's a county emergency notification system, but imagine the panic if it went out to Whitney 76692 and not Whitney residents. So I didn't know exactly what the parameters were at ENS when I decided that we absolutely needed to do a boil water notice at 10 o'clock, or it was, I think we did it at 8:45 when we actually issued it, somewhere around in there. That leak went until 2 a.m. So it was a big one. It was the biggest water leak that we've had since the intersection blew up, probably 6 years ago. So with that being said, these things happen, and that's what, unfortunately, it is what it is. But fortunately, like I said, we in Whitney do not experience these very often.
Now, on just moving forward, I know I was telling people check the website because it's the first thing you see on the landing page. Is this something that we might be able to turn into a pop-up on the landing page when it's this significant?
We could ask our internet provider or the one who manages our website to see if that's possible. I think when we start getting the actual notification system tied into the water, because it's exclusively inside that module, inside our water billing, so it's going to be our water customers. So not only does that function as an emergency warning, you'll be able to get bill notice alerts and all kinds of good stuff. So hopefully we don't experience another one of these. I mean, again, it's been 5 years. So.
And is this the kind of thing residents can expect to see in a month, 6
Oh,
months?
we don't have an ETA right now. There's actually some development that has to happen in order for it to go. We don't really know what that ETA looks like. Again, I signed the PO to get the contract going on the 13th last week. So that's, we want to talk about it in its infancy, but at least those plans are already in place. And
It probably won't be happening next week though.
no. We're hoping within the few months, 3 to 6 months, hopefully. But again, let's just hope and pray we don't have to do this again. It's summer. It's been dry. That's when the ground starts shifting and major water leaks happen.
And from my experience in water utilities, from working there for 13 years, the contacts that I have across the state of Texas, water breaks are happening everywhere right now.
We're gonna move on to the library report. Christie's out, or,
No, it's not for the agenda. This is the department.
Okay.
We'll call you after just a brief. Thank you.
am I supposed to?
So Christy's not here. She's at a conference learning and getting better at her job. And so I'll just read through what she has here. New library cards issued 43, total individuals served 1,123, visitors using computers 160, visitors served with direct assistance 62, unique events and programs provided 36, visitors attending events and programs 208, items checked out 869, outreach visits 0, outreach hours 0, volunteers work 4, volunteer hours 4.75, late fines collected 86.54, total fines and copy print services $516.10.
And I would like to reiterate for everybody out in the city, there's still a lot of city residents and local area residents that don't even know that this room is available to use. So please get the word out that this is available. It's a really great room to use, and it helps the city's numbers for grant stuff moving forward.
Municipal court,
For the month of July, we have a total of 22 citations issued with a collections of $4,702.94.
line 9, deliberate and act on Parks Board application.
You wanna speak for you? President? Mr. President? Ah, that's a good ring to it.
Go into song
Good evening, everybody. I'm Ray Frias, Chairman of the Park Board. We only received the last thing that we sent out for an applicants to join the Park Board. We only received one applicant. I think he's here tonight. And our recommendation to y'all was to, we didn't want to act on just one. We wanted to know if we could re-advertise that again out to the public, and also to keep the previous existing pool of candidates in the same thing, and that was our request for this.
How many openings do we have on the park board right now?
One
Opening.
we had one, and then only one applicant that was turned in the last whatever you call it, that we sent out and advertised, the last advertisement for candidates. But prior to that, we had received 4.
And I was at that meeting, and I know that you guys were talking about not filling it and just getting another pool. You said that Alex is here?
Alex is here, correct?
I would love to hear from Alex, since you're here.
Oh, right.
Come on up and tell us why you want to be on the park board and what your ideas are. And how you're going to help us raise a bunch of money for the Cato building.
My name's Alex Phillips. From Clifton originally. I moved here about 2 years ago and have recently moved to the Whitney area for my job. Still reside in Clifton, but work at First Security State Bank. My background is in outdoor recreation. Throughout college, I was an outdoor guide, teaching college students how to mountain bike, rock climb, and go backpacking. We did plenty of trail building and trying to help out any way I can within the city. I want the best candidate. I have no problem if it's someone other than me, but I just want to see the community grow and flourish.
We just got helicoptered out of the Grand Canyon this last summer, so thank you for being a trail builder. Would you be interested in, if the council does not appoint you, would you still be interested in showing up at the meetings and speaking and helping out?
I'd be happy to.
Fantastic. Rigo, when is the next park board meeting?
September 1st.
September 1st.
I'll be there.
Thank you. Does anybody else have questions?
I do. You said you currently live in Clifton, but did I understand or misunderstand you're moving to Whitney?
Work in Whitney, yes, ma'am.
Work in Whitney.
And really, that is one of the qualifications to serve on the board. They can live out of county and work inside the city limits.
This is a valid application.
A valid application.
Yes. The discussion when this ordinance was adopted was that we need all the help we can get from as many places as we can get. So it was left pretty widespread, so thank you for stepping up.
Thank you.
Other than your recreational activities, have you worked with any parks departments in any other cities, or?
I had advised the city of Lubbock whenever I was living there on trail building for mountain biking.
Any educational background in Parks and Rec?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion motion on accepting Alex's application for Parks Board?
I would like to respectfully ask that we go ahead and open up the applications like the Park Board was asking and give them another crack at filling that. They may still choose Alex, but I'd like to give them that opportunity.
I don't disagree with that. I'd just like to know what's the parameters on that. If you want to open it back up, do we have a time frame?
As soon as possible, like it's about the same time frame you had the last advertisement.
So we don't necessarily have to put it out for a minimum number of weeks or anything. He's just asking that we advertise it one more time.
Unless you want us to pull from using him and the previous pool and take from that group, then you wouldn't have to advertise.
Have we checked with the group that had previously done that they would still be interested?
No, we haven't.
The one in Pretty Redlands.
I haven't checked.
I'm sorry, what was that?
We had one applicant that was still interested that I spoke with. The problem with
Rudy?
making it, yes, the problem with making a decision last time was that I personally was not aware that you could live outside the, you had moved it.
Can you take the podium, please?
Sandy May, I'm on the Parks Board. I was not aware that you could live outside of Whitney and apply. That's why we couldn't make a decision. But I don't think any of us knew that. We had taken it used to be inside city limits, then we expanded it to outside city limits. But now we're being told you can live outside of Whitney and work in Whitney and be qualified. I don't believe that was put out to the public. That's why I personally would like to see it re-advertised, because that opens a whole nother pool of candidates. But we need it advertised quickly if we're gonna have our September 1st meeting. And
Was it advertised before?
It was advertised, but I don't believe it was advertised as that
But it was
wide around.
advertised. But it was advertised, correct?
So,
Yeah.
so maybe
Yeah.
And so
advertise.
you got one application from that
Right.
advertisement.
One
Now,
application.
kind of the way I look at it is, you're not liking that application.
No, that application is fine. It's just that
I think it was just that there was confusion on who could and couldn't apply.
right, because when I saw it, I'm like, well, he lives in Clifton.
Well,
I live in Whitney.
And to be fair, the library board does have a city resident component in some of those positions, whereas the park board does not. And so I do think it would be good to post it again with a clear explanation that applications are being accepted from everybody in this particular area. So, I mean, and back to when we first did this, when Jason was talking about this, is we need people to know that we need help. So I'm okay.
Well, I think it's a shame that our city won't stand up and we have to go out.
We agree.
Anyway, that's beside the point. So do we have a motion here?
I'll make a motion that we, allow the Parks Board to open it up one more time, with clarity on the parameters, so they can have a group to pull from by their next meeting.
I'll second.
Have a motion from Jason Sneed, a second from Amy Teal to open up the Parks Board applications again with clarity on the parameters. And Jason Hens,
Yes.
Vicki Wilson. Abstain. Jason Sneed,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Amy Teal.
Yes.
4 yeses, 1 abstain, motion passes.
1 item 10, deliberate and act on a recommendation from the Parks Board on the Gaga pit at the city park.
It's my understanding that this is being built using donations,
Yes, ma'am.
and tell us about this.
We didn't want to move forward till we got your blessing to do it. It's a dugout pit, if you've been up to Hillsborough Park. It's about a 20-foot diameter. I sent you all the advertisement there with a picture of it. It's usually octagon shape. It's a game that adults and youth can play. It's kind of like a scaled down version of dodgeball, except you're gonna have to, you know, get on down to hit the ball, to tag out people within the ring. And that's something that we wanna put out at the city park. We didn't go through the pricing on that because we didn't know whether y'all would bless off on that. Jason has already let me know, and I'll let the board know in emails too, that they have a used one that they're willing to give. I don't know what all needs to be rehabbed on that, but I mean, if we did this totally new from scratch, you're looking something that we can raise easily, like $1,000 or less. You know, that's just the really high side of that. But other than that, it's a really nice thing to do. And like I said, it'll definitely get used.
Can you clarify where the city park?
We haven't got to that yet.
Can you clarify what the city park is for you?
The city park.
Is that at the tennis courts? Is it at the baseball
The
field?
tennis courts is, well, it could go either there. If that's where we want to put it, that's fine. Yes, ma'am.
So my question would be, the balls, are they gonna be out all the time, or?
That's something they bring on their
Check them
own.
in and out?
I mean, we can put one out there. If it disappears, then, you know, that's just the way it goes.
Because I'm like, well, who's gonna take care of that?
We'll put the pit out, it'll have the rules mounted on the bracket, and, you know, and that way people won't stare at it and go, you know, how do I play this game? It's something that you catch on pretty easy.
Yeah, as a youth pastor, look, the kids all know. They all know how to play gaga ball. They have been for years. Our church has one that we had that was a permanent one, like what they're wanting. We don't use that permanent one anymore. We have a portable one, so we're willing to donate that to the city. There's probably some parts missing. Ace Hardware for $7 to $10 will get it back up and running perfectly fine. But it's a lot of fun. The kids love it. Adults love it. As long as you have a decent back and knees, otherwise you're in trouble.
When I was at Hillsborough Park on National Night Out, and they had many activities set up for kids that night, and I believe this was one. But tell me about, compared to a swimming pool, about
20
just
foot.
illustrate to me.
20 foot circle with an octagon around it.
Yeah.
You want it pretty big in case you get a large group of kids, and you don't want it too big in case, you know, smaller group of kids do. But the kids and adults, they'll find a way to play that game too.
I will confess that, okay, this, y'all out there in Facebook land, you can see this on page 70 in the packet, this picture. When I saw this and heard about this, it was completely unappealing to me, and to be honest, it still is. However, there's an effort to do it. People seem to like doing it, and it's gonna be funded by donations. I think this is the kind of thing that can go at either park, right?
Yes.
So I am okay, I would absolutely support, you know, giving you guys the blessing to move forward with it, and then we can work out the details on.
If we want to put it near the playground where it gets more use, more visibility, then, you know, that, like I said, we'll work it out with y'all. Our initial goal was to get y'all's blessing on that, and then
I would put it near the playground. The tennis courts is not a viable option there in my mind.
Do we need a motion on this, or can they just work on doing this?
I believe we need a motion.
Yeah, he's seeking authority, so I would make a motion that we allow the Parks Board to go forward with the Gaga pit.
Okay.
I got a motion from Jason Sneed and a second from Jason Ince to move forward with the Gaga pit. Jason Ince?
Yes.
Vicki Wilson?
Yes.
Jason Sneed?
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West?
Yes.
Amy Teal? Sure. 5 yeses, motion passes.
Line item 11, receive information from the Parks Board on the Cagle Building restoration and adaptive use proposal.
Change your personal address from Lano Street right there.
originally, I sent the request for y'all to put it up on the big screen, that way the public could see that and color the thing before Charles.
It's on page 72.
Page 72, before Charles Boyer had passed the golden vision that he was working on. We wanted the public to see that. that didn't do justice. He did a really, really super fantastic job putting a plan together of what, what it could look like downtown.
I think this is a great idea. I still stand by my initial point that it should be somebody else's great idea for the private sector to move forward with. But I do like the idea. I think it's a great idea. I think everybody should read it, take a look at it. Alex, you want to be on Parks Board, read this plan, and find some people that can help put it together. And,
Right, I mean, when we were working on it, and then, like I said, unfortunately, Charles had passed, and his wife had, I asked her if she would allow us to see the vision that he had and make it public, and he did, like I said, a really super fantastic knockout job.
He did. He actually showed this to me when I went to the hospital to see him. He was so proud of it.
Very proud.
Right.
And I would like at some point maybe a plaque or something to be dedicated to him as we go further along. Needless to say, I was probably one of the lower votes for historic preservation that came out on our survey. And I'm very passionate about redefining our downtown area, and this is very exciting to me. I like the fact that you named a lot of uses, or your team named a lot of uses for this building, particularly historic preservation. But one of the things, I know several of us have gone to meetings in other towns, Hillsborough and Clifton and different things. I would like for Whitney to be able to host meetings for other communities to come and visit us here as well. And this would be an ideal location for Whitney to invite other guests from the county and the community
Right,
around
and it's
us.
like in the surveys that went out, we haven't seen nothing, or I haven't seen nothing yet as far as how many got turned in, what the feedback was on that too. So that's something the board would like to see too, as we move along on this.
a lot.
We didn't know if that's gonna be made public to us, or,
I will be going through them and offering some notes at the budget workshop on Tuesday. There were several requests to just sell the building.
right.
Thank you.
Any further?
Thank you for putting the work into that.
Yes.
Thank you.
I like this idea personally.
I do too. Line 12, receive information from the Library Advisory Board on the library budget for fiscal year 2026-2027. PJ, I think now you're up.
I think it's my turn. My name is PJ Hicks. I am the chairperson for the Library Advisory Board that you esteemed established this past year, and we're thankful for that. There we go. I didn't think I could hear my voice too well. I am also the minister at Whitney Church of Christ, and we've been here a little bit over a year, and love Whitney. It's a wonderful town to live in. I've had the opportunity through the years to work with libraries as well as be a part of libraries, and I think we have a very nice facility here, and it's incredible as far as with the size of our town and whatnot to have the caliber of and also the ability to reach out to the community with this room right here, as well as the activities that go on in the library itself. But we also realize that the library isn't just limited by the borders of these walls. Quickly, we are understanding that the library is expanding out into the world of digital age, as well as to other areas. And the good thing about that is that many of the libraries across our nation have caught on to this and really grabbed the bull by the horns and went with it. And as a result, we have a good repository of books
that are electronic as well as audiobooks that are out there, as well as videos. And it's quite interesting to see that. Right now, somewhere in Whitney, there's a child waiting to fall in love with reading. I was one of those kids. Problem was this kid sees letters differently than everybody else. And it was a blessing for me to have a library that noticed that I had a pretty bad case of dyslexia. I'm a minister now, and so it takes a lot of reading and a lot of studying. Where would I have been without a librarian? Where would I have been without falling in love with reading at such a young age? Whenever they would have the reading to the children, and we would have the summer reading competition. Right now, there's a parent searching for a job. They don't have a computer at home. A senior needs help filling out government forms. Each of them looks to one to place in answers from our library, a public library. Yet that library operates without a professional leadership in its term, as we know that a experienced leadership will serve this community well. I speak to you not as someone who would critique, but as a neighbor who believes deeply in the community and what our library can become. I too came from a very small town. We had one stoplight for the cattle crossing, but we had a fantastic library, the Jesse Peterman Library. I ask you to approve the creation of a full-time credential librarian position for the Lake Whitney Public Library. Now, before you start thinking about dollars and cents, bear with me, because I have some really good news for you. First, we need reliability. Families, students, and seniors deserve a library that they can count on. A full-time librarian guarantees consistent, dependable hours, but more flexible hours for such like our Mondays, of which that we're closed, but yet our schools are out also. A good time for reading programs or some type of library outreach. Also, we can see that there's no guessing for closed doors, just steady open access and knowledge after day. Second, professional management. A trained librarian keeps a collection current, our catalog organized, our budget working harder. Just importantly, a traditional librarian can pursue grants, and I think that this would fall on great ears, that through the Texas State Library and the Institute of Museums, Library Sciences, these dollars simply cannot reach to us today because we do not have a full-time librarian. In many Texas towns such as our size, grant revenue has matched or exceeded the cost of the position in itself. Thirdly, our children. A full-time librarian brings forth story hours for our youngsters, summer reading programs that stop a learning loss and perhaps maybe gain a better readability rate, literacy, and partnerships within our local schools, which to me I think is key. We really need to partner with our teachers in our school systems so that they can promote the library as much as we want them to. Strong readers become strong students. Strong students become strong leaders in the community. When we look at the future of Whitney, we want strong leadership. We want the ability that only our small town can afford then is our attention. Fourthly, our adults. This position means real help for real needs, job search assistance, computer and digital training, GED preparation, for many residents that they don't even know that that's an option, or perhaps maybe a service. These services exist nowhere else in town. The library becomes a bridge to that opportunity. Fifthly, their own view, the credential librarian builds up relationships, secures funding, and grows services strategically over the years. This is not an expense, it's an investment, and it pays Whitney back time and time again. Your constituents can see the results by the measure of what the library can offer our community. I'll ask you a simple question. What kind of town do we want to be? One that treats the library as an afterthought, or invest in the education and opportunity in every resident? Council members, I respectfully urge you to appoint a full-time credential librarian for Lake Whitney Public Library. Make this decision and you'll strengthen our children, our workforce, and our future for generations to come. What's amazing to me is that with our resource of hiring a full-time librarian who is credentialed, they could secure their own funding so that they would be able to not be as much a burden on the city itself. I appreciate your listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, our agenda item is we're not making a, just informational, and
I did. I'm glad you pulled that out. I did provide for you a packet that I made, and I hope that
I wanted
will.
to say this is a very good packet, and I don't know if the city can or the library can put this kind of stuff on the website, on the library website, as kind of a information from the library board. The only it's like I served on our Red Oak Library Board. I was the vice president of that, and the library is huge. It is a big, big deal. And that's one of the reasons I pushed for a library board. And this is great, and I love seeing this kind of thing. And I did want to assure you that in your letter here that's in the packet, the advisory board urges the council to treat this position as an essential municipal investment, not a discretionary line item. And I do want to clarify and underscore that just because we can't necessarily fund this position does not mean that we don't think it is just a discretionary disposable thing. But I do hope that you guys will come to the budget workshop on Tuesday, because right now our municipal budget is very, very tight. And the money that we've got, that we would be able to spend for this, would have to come out of something else. And we've got $150,000 set aside for streets and roads, and that's barely going to touch anything. Have you guys had a chance to work with the Library Foundation yet about some fundraising and stuff like that?
That is a question that we needed to ask the council. Is we understand that, and if I'm not mistaken, Cheryl, I believe you attended a meeting in my absence when I was in the hospital. And the question I believe that was posed is if the library board was to establish the Friends of the Library position, and from our purview, from what we understood, and when we look back at what the direction we had, it's mainly as an advisory to the council. And we certainly want also to find revenue for the library.
I think in partnership with the Friends of the Library, as well as the board that oversees the facility here, I think could be a great team, but I don't think it should land on just one group. I think it could
We
be
need a lot of
beneficial
people.
to.
We need a lot of people to try to pull this.
And I think the more that we make this library a central part of our community, the more people are going to be willing to give to this library.
I concur, and like I said earlier, it is amazing how many people right here in the city don't even realize that this room exists. I know every time I've got some wild idea, I try to go to the library first to see if I can do it at the library. But when y'all did this recommendation, had they reviewed the city use of the library with you guys?
No.
So this is something that I do. This is
I have since, but
this is a really great document that that Christy gave us at the budget workshop, and it's hard to track usage of a library because people can come and go, and the library is not over your shoulder. Just what are you reading? What are you doing? But when she broke down the patron numbers, using the water bills, it was 810 city households, water accounts. 317 of them have a library account, and that's about 2 per household. So 317 households, 611 cardholders. For the library completely, it's 2,595 active cards. 10% of those are City of Whitney. 90% are Whitney area residents. And right now, what that breaks down to is about $194 per year per city account. So that's what our residents in the city are paying to try to keep this library afloat.
If I may now, this library is the very first thing that I joined when I came here. I'm a retired college professor, and if you don't mind taking just a few minutes, I want to explain to you a story. It's very similar to what you shared with us, and a personal friend of mine, O.K. Carter from the Metroplex, grew up on Possum Kingdom Lake in an alcoholic home. Guess where he went during the day with his dysfunctional family? He became later, because of a librarian, the publisher of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. That's big. That was his refuge to go back and forth to the library and read books and being read. They passed so many books to him, he'd read all of them. I know there are children like that here in Whitney right now. And I don't always agree with other council members that like to flow out numbers. I think human beings represent far more than just numbers.
They absolutely do. And when we come to the budget workshop, we're going to be looking at the appraisal roll. And we have people who are delinquent in paying their property taxes because they can't afford another $200 a year. The Whitney ISD Board of Directors or Board Trustees will be auctioning off property that they have seized and evicted families for non-payment of taxes.
I think there
These
are ways
numbers,
to raise
whether you
money.
like them or not, they
think there
matter.
are ways to raise money in the library without having to bring up the subject.
We do need to, that's what this budget season is about, is reviewing all these numbers and making sure that everybody who wants to see this library flourish understands that these numbers do matter. We've got to figure out some options to give our residents a little bit of breathing room so that we can do more with fixing roads and stuff like that. But right now, everybody who lives outside the city limits of Whitney is not contributing in a regular manner to the physical health of this building. Even the city of Arlington has non-resident fees for use of their library. And moving forward, we're probably going to need to do something like that so that we can continue to offer people at this library who can catch folks like PJ when he was a kid and your friend. But we
We're
can't.
gonna move on to item 13.
We need more help.
Discussion on the city of Whitney planning
Thank you,
capacity
PJ.
study from the year 2000. Thank you, PJ.
Okay, so yeah, the park board had asked if they could try to put together a master plan. And at the time, they had not been presented with any master plan. And the mayor did bring up that there is a master plan. And I had seen the plan from 2000. It's 26 years old. I had no idea that we were actually even still using it. When I was elected, it was not given to me. We were not sat down and said, this is what we're working from. So, is this online on the city website anywhere?
No, so to be clear, this plan is not being followed. I've said that in open meetings many times. This plan was established in the year 2000, and from what I've been able to determine, somewhere around 2008, and I've said it exactly like this, we decided we weren't going to do that anymore. So, this was the last one. You will recall that we have had several conversations with getting grants for a new planning study to be done, which we're still in the process of. But this is the last planning and capacity study. This is what we have. It's from the year 2000. This is it. So
So in that plan, the city park is the school playground. In that plan,
Yeah.
that's why I'm pushing parks and recreation. Which includes, in that is a walking path, which we do not have. So those were things that I have been piecing together through the time. Plus the, the streets and is also in there.
Right.
Which you have to have your studies and what have you, which is why we've been doing the studies. So actively as a group, we have not been following that, but I have been piecing it together because it's still there. And I took the time. I didn't find it till after I became mayor.
Right.
So when you read it, you understand a lot.
Yeah, and my biggest frustration right here is that we spooled up the Parks Board. They weren't told that there was a $10,000 donation. They weren't told that there was any kind of plan that anybody in the city was following. I would love to see the city administration and staff work with them a little bit more closely as a support team, because they're trying to help us out. They need information, and they're treading water right now, trying to figure out what's going on, and they're finding out information after the fact. So let's try to find a way to get everybody on the same page when there is a page, and if there's a good plan, a good vision, let's put it on the website.
Are you on the Parks Board?
No, I live in the city of Whitney, Cheryl, and I'm very interested in the Parks
Oh,
Board.
I thought the way you were speaking, you were on the Parks Board.
Well, you can think that. I hope you were someone of a more educated person that could have a civil conversation.
Okay, so we're not gonna move down to line item 14, deliberate and act on proposing the 2026-2027 property tax rate for 0.5411 per 100.
So we're not adopting the tax rate right here. All we're doing is talking about it and we're proposing. This is staff's recommendation based off of the tax rates. We're proposing that the city adopt the no new revenue rate of 0.5411 per $100 of valuation, which will produce less tax revenue than it did last year of the amount of $39,922. This will be the second year in a row that we are proposing. Last year we adopted the no new revenue rate. Again, we're proposing that we adopt the no new revenue rate for fiscal year 26-27.
I did have one question. Do we know how many delinquent properties we have right right now in the city limits?
Not off the top of my head, we'd have to look into it. I will say that our property tax revenue this year, based off our estimation, if you look in your.
101.
We're at 101.
101.
So we nailed that number, and that's real close to what the projection was, based off of the no new revenue rate. So, I would say it's not many, based off of what we had.
Could you, when we get that information, is there a way of telling if that actual property is being lived on?
You'd have to go look.
That's a question I don't know the answer to. I mean, we would physically
Because
have to go
I know
look at the
one
property.
Some that are abandoned, yeah.
Yeah, well, I know
Yeah.
one that's, you know, in the, who passed it, that house, that it's just sitting there, the person died, but the family is holding on to it and paying the taxes because of a family situation, trying to, everybody get the little piece of the pie, they, you know, so I know that some of those are not, you know.
I did request it last year, and I was somewhat shocked at how many we had that I had knocked doors on.
So just for clarity, we're not seeking to adopt this rate, we're just seeking to propose this rate.
That's correct. We will not adopt until after we adopt the budget
Gotcha.
next month.
For purposes of the public access.
Fair enough. Okay, then I'll make a motion that we go with the proposed rate of 0.5411 to $100.
Second.
I got a motion from Jason Sneed and a second from Vicki Wilson to set the proposed tax rate at the no new revenue rate of 0.5411 per 100.
Real
Jason,
quick.
I'm sorry?
Real quick, I know we have a motion in a second, and technically that's when we can discuss. I do want to make a statement for the record that while I am glad we are not adopting a tax hike, I am still opposed to the collection of property taxes and will be voting no because this is not low enough.
I need to also say that because we will be proposing and adopting a potential no new revenue rate, there will not be a public hearing on tax rate this year.
Line 15.
Oh, we still got to vote.
Sorry,
I interrupted that.
Okay, Jason Ince,
Yes.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Jason Sneed,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Amy Teal.
No.
4 yeses, 1 no, motion passes.
Line 15, deliberate and act on approving a special event permit submitted by the Chamber of Commerce for Trunk or Treat.
I move we adopt this. I missed it last year because I was at the TML thing.
I second.
I have a motion from Amy Teal, a second from Vicki Wilson to approve the special event permit by the Chamber of Commerce for Trunk or Treat. Jason Ince,
Yes.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Jason Sneed,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Amy Teal.
Yes.
5 yeses, motion passes.
Line item 16, deliberate and act on a request for reimbursement by ABSN Health Now Urgent Care for $5,202.10. Is she here tonight?
No, Mayor, she sent an email, on the 19th at 6:23 PM saying that, hello, due to a personal reason, she'll be in Dallas and, requested that this be moved to the next council meeting.
I move the table to the next council meeting.
I'll second.
I got a motion from Amy Teal, to table this item till the next council meeting, and a second from Jason Sneed. Jason Ince,
Yes.
Vicki Wilson,
Yes.
Jason Sneed,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Amy Teal.
Yes.
5 yeses, motion passes.
Line item 17, deliberate and act on accepting the resignation of Billy Preble as city administrator with an effective date of October 1, 2026.
So Mayor and Council, if I may, last year, I went out on a limb and started my own business, a side business. And at that time, it was starting to kind of take off, and that's when I initially put my request in my resignation to leave the city. But after many citizens and a lot of folks asked me to stick around and stay, to which I have. With us making some significant cuts to the budget and some other things, this was a good opportunity for me to go ahead and walk away from the city. with that being said, my business is in a position where I need to be able to make decisions instantly and accept contracts when they come my way. Unfortunately, I can't do that part-time anymore. In order to see that business grow and flourish, I need to be able to react instantly to those requests, and I can't do that in my current position. So I will fulfill my term through the budget year, through October 1. My request was to potentially stay on as a temporary employee for a few months during the transition. I will not be in a city administrator role, but there are certain things like subdivisions and those things that we have in the works that I would like to help the new person through, at least understand the history of. Because when I got this job, I got it with no knowledge other than what I experienced through Public Works. So I want to set this next person up for success and let them understand the history of what's behind it, the grants and stuff that we have out there, the projects that are open. So my end goal is to resign at October 1, but by January 1 to be away from the city completely.
We have a motion to accept the resignation.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Jason Sneed and a second from Amy Teal to accept the resignation of City Administrator Billy Fribble. Jason Ants,
Yes.
Vicki Wilson,
Under duress, I'll say yes.
Jason Sneed,
Yes.
Cheryl Taylor West,
Yes.
Amy Teal,
Yes.
5 yeses, motion passes.
Sounds like y'all are too excited to see her. Executive session as authorized by Texas Government Code Section 551.071. This meeting may be convened into closed session for the purpose of seeking confidential legal advice from the city attorney or on any item on the agenda at any time during the meeting. In accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551.001, etc., the city council will recess into executive session closed meeting to discuss the following. Government Code 551.074, deliberate the employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of public officer and employee, or to hear complaint or charge against an officer or employee. Interim city administrator position, we're gonna go in at 7:32.
All right. I'll holler at you both.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Is that your son, Chief? Is that your son over there? Oh, I thought he looked, I thought he looked like a mini me.
I was just like, no, because I couldn't peanut butter.
The young man sitting over on the bench.
I was very happy to go. So, come out as a large grass fire, and it was on the county line of McClellan County and Boston County, and every department pretty much in McClellan County, Boston County, they were calling for dozers, and then they couldn't get enough water on the fire. They were running out of tankers. Because that had West and everybody else. I would say all of McClellan County was pretty much in that area.
There was a young man sitting over on the bench there.
Oh yeah, no, I saw him sitting over there. I was trying to figure out who he belonged to.
Oh, I thought he belonged to you. All right.
You leaving?
No, I'm just sitting outside real quick.
They were sitting west over there. Because Diana called me and was like, hey, listening to that fire. I was like, yeah, I just heard the radio on. So what it was is, I said probably what, 10 years ago there, when Dad was here the first time. They had a big fire on that, there's a big horse ranch where it is. And they were all the way out there for help.
Unknowable. Unknowable? I don't mean unknown, but unknowable.
Another retro gets your kids. So they have to be in there.
Practice. Just keep moving.
So you guys have some action, lost dry grass.
Not yet, but this is good.
I mean, 106 on Saturday. That'll be fun.
We've been lucky. What do you do now?
Little fireworks Sunday night.
For what?
Labor Day weekend.
I don't even know what this is.
And, we got back to the judge. Rest off big day. I said, well, cameras. Don't they're out.
Including bottled water. I want to be city.
What?
It says, taking the bottled water, it's theft. I won't be a thief.
And, so if you call,
If I wanted to be a thief, I would run for office.
and,
Be a politician.
hey, possibly fireworks. I got real. Well, is there ordinance against it while it wants to know? You're right, well, we're at the fire department, so we understand that, it's your eyes, it's dry, well, I always thought it was. He said, well, I wanna watch the, commissioner court. Yeah.
Is there a burn ban in it? I hope so.
Boston County's already banned their fireworks. The second they put their program on, they banned all their fireworks. Oh, for sure. Well, they do it in the city anyways. I was like, oh.
What's your,
Are you saying the stupid is, the stupid does?
what's your excuse?
I don't have one right now, but we were busy today.
And what about the day before?
We're busy.
And the day before?
We've been busy the last 3 weeks.
And the day before?
Yeah.
So you don't go home?
We go home long enough to shower and go to bed.
You don't have a computer?
I can do it on my phone now.
And so,
I just haven't done it. As soon as this week's up, and we're done with this property,
okay.
I have
I'm
free
gonna say
time.
this, I'm never gonna ask you again. January what, 12th?
I don't remember.
Yeah. I think it's January 12th or January 20th. You and I are giving this circle. Fire circle. So it's up to you.
What is it, miss? Step for?
Is he doing the empty class? So firefighters have to do certain things.
Oh, I thought you said it's him, yes.
No, I was here with International again.
Oh, yes.
I failed it the first time barely, but I failed it. Never rescheduled it.
Now he's dragging his feet.
Yeah.
The more you drag, the less information. Yeah, have you heard that before? And that's coming from a donut eater.
Sure, no, I mean, it's true for any profession, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with school, same with everything, so.
Hey, why was Officer Brown responding to the NBA all the way down to the on the border past the church?
What day was this? It's hard to say. During the daytime, I don't know, on the weekend, I'm assuming.
How long does it take to do the EMS training?
4 months.
That's the question I always ask all the time. So it's a question I ask all the time.
I guess.
We got hold of that, it's too long, but,
I think paramedic over a year now.
Yeah, I got it.
it's a very weird all the time. It's not, he has that issue, so I try to give him a little pass, and then he just goes, well, product, right? So.
That's what they told me, I said, well,
He's harmless.
Yeah, I've had some patrol guys, county come to their team, it's up the rank of sergeant.
whatever Ronnie is, where he was supposed to be going.
He's gonna go, yeah, we just have to figure out exactly what, how that's gonna go.
Yeah, and so I had to, I guess, he was at the state fire marshal, he comes up to me and starts asking me questions, I'm like, hey, I forgot the county. Sure, he put me in as a reference, but it seems Whitney, so he won't know. He's good.
Is it the one you applied for? Oh, Paris.
Yeah.
So, some of the guys that are, the mindset they want to work for EPS, which is fine, I think it's great, you wanna do all that, but depending on how they use your skills and assets, so him, he'd probably put more into your role than the police. You know, so it just depends on what you're good at, some guys good at all three, some are good at one thing, some are good at two, I don't know. And some people just wanna change things and be better, but. So it really just depends on where you go to and who you work for, so.
You want your seat back, you just tell me.
Oh, no, you're fine, I've been sitting all day, so. Stare at the computer for 10 hours a day.
Or get the big bucks. Do all that administrative stuff.
All the phone calls. I'm killing it.
You got an open murder? You got an open murder case?
No, we got here, that was involved several years ago. Figured out it was in, kind of, he voluntarily, we were gonna relocate back to the state he came from, so. Which is very nice.
No.
Yes, it was. So, yeah, luckily we don't have a lot of that, between Whitney and county and stuff, I think I've only been on, or led probably 5 or 6 homicides, which is very good over the last 10 years, so it's nothing too great.
My mom, when my mom lived in Houston, she got the guy committing a minor criminal act, and the police chief himself, Lee P. Brown, probably late night, chief's name, so I said, because they came into the lineup.
Unless he
Gave
just
my
took his
mom a
mom
lineup
there.
to see if she could ID the guy, and then she
Unless he
thought
took
she
his mom
saw.
there. Unless he was dead.
And she said, if you
Okay,
could just
I don't know.
identify that guy there, he's a guy that we want to get rid of, send back to Ohio, and he used to do that.
Did you go to that autonomous truckload
He
yesterday?
wanted her to.
What?
Did you go to that?
Falsely named
Dude, that was so
You
boring.
don't see that at the school law enforcement group anymore, so.
Yeah,
The only
that was like I said,
thing I
probably
took
the
away
late
from that
night.
class
It's changed over the last.
had time battery switches off.
15 years, I mean, everything's changed, how many cars.
Well, everything's
There's 6 battery switches.
Body cameras in car.
Body cam.
I started, I didn't have an in-car, didn't have a body camera since the interstate was within my district.
Unfortunately, we have to
Your
deal with
word
it.
and how you test
Well,
your word now, it's whatever.
Now that we go to Hillsborough, we're not gonna have vehicle fires.
So I didn't have to store.
Not even a full story.
That's the only reason we went. And they're talking about once they map it for the interstate, they're talking about maybe mapping detours coming off the interstate or bringing them out of Cleveland this way. They had to.
One of my friends who are retired cops said there was no way in hell they could go back and do it today.
Nobody wants to do it today. It's, I've got guys, I know that come in and do it for a year and they're gone, they're still working on those and doing the pieces.
I tell you, I wouldn't even want to be a bail enforcement agent right now. They're getting mistaken as immigration right now.
Yeah.
People are chasing them around.
They'll call them something like that too, they came here and done some things. So it's kind of weird, I'm like, as an officer today, you know, there should be big differences, so.
If
your vest says bail enforcement, that's what your job is.
Yeah, I'm sure those cops don't like having body worn cameras, but.
Oh, no, I mean, a lot of.
It protects both sides.
Yeah, you're able to go back and look and review and see how, you know, how they did on the call, if there's something they missed or should have done. It's a great
Or if
tool.
they're falsely accused of something and they've got camera back up there.
It's great, cause I get body cam footage from vehicle fires.
Yeah.
Nice.
For example, if a woman accuses an officer of doing something inappropriate.
I've noticed down in like Harris County right now, cause there's, in Harris County, their EMS is separate from fire departments. Their EMS service right now is required to wear body cameras. I guess people are just
It depends on where you're at, other states, some of them are running body cameras, some of them, EMS personnel, fire.
It's up to each individual agency, right, whether or not to have it.
It is, but I mean, it's more state mandated now and stuff like that, but you shall have, and the way they do it is they'll put it into, basically you have a policy. And if you have a policy in place, and if that policy's there, and it's state mandated, you're gonna have those cameras. And so that's why they push real hard, let's say, like they say, we'll give you money to get cameras, like, so.
Right,
Yeah,
right. They weren't saying you have to have cameras.
No.
But they're saying we'll give you money if you institute a policy.
And most people just follow.
And most of them will do that because it's a, like you're saying, a grant or like something. They'll chase that grant money.
It depends on how it goes, so I mean, grants are a great tool, resource to have, but at the same time, you'll be able to know which ones to apply for and everything else, the process behind it.
And you gotta know what strings are attached to, right? Because some of them have strings.
Yes, and they'll follow you for years on the audit trail, so.
I used to be a county administrator, so I know a few things.
It's a joy. And that's the whole thing, you know, you work in the police department, it's almost being like a city manager or something like that, you know, it's.
Yeah.
That's why I'm supposed to jump up to that role.
You're an administrator.
Yeah, you're already playing it, I mean, it's the best part about small towns is that everybody you work with, you know, end up knowing it. It's like a big family, that type of stuff, so. I've worked for a larger agency, you know, half the people are maybe a quarter of the people are there, so it's a little, a lot different, so.
Which one was that? The largest?
Well, the largest I've ever worked for is still County, which I think we got pretty large now, so they're still, the pay increase.
I still get a phone call from them every year.
Do what?
We still get a phone call from them every year.
What, ESO? Sheriff's office?
For 10% increase prior to the new fiscal year, and then including the COLA increase for the new fiscal year. So I mean, I think we're looking at a 13-15% increase.
I live in Johnson County. They're always complaining to the sheriff's office about their low pay. I think just I haven't heard them complain in the last 3 or 4 years, so maybe they did something about it. The county.
Yeah, it's hard to get on time, so. Good morning. Make sure no one in there.
Do we all have to stand?
Yes.
All rise. I've had a lot of high blood pressure lately. One watch.
On airlift.
Mayor.
I'll make a motion to resign or. Right, but.
7:49 I like those 40s.
Right?
We need to pick up, please.
Chairs?
Yes.
Sorry, sorry.
Oh, yes, I do need to know. Good night. Okay.
Were you sitting over there? How you been?
All right, how are you? Made it. Good deal.
Okay.
He's got me on good money, I can tell you that. He's not completed.
Okay.
I got
So,
a lot of stuff to hit.
this is the pageant, okay?
Somebody was steering.
Deadline is September 8th to return forms.
You got that fixed.
And if anybody wants to sponsor the pageant, reach out. Miss Lake Whitney pageant at gmail.com. Ta-da. And no, I'm not on the park board. But we all still care about the parks. Which is why this is, where is it? Is it on here? Sponsor? No, it's not. So yeah, as Dana mentioned, it's going to benefit the park board and cosplays as well.
Where's this one go?
10 to 8.
10 to 8.
We're gonna go to the other place. When it's open to 9, right?
Like too late, Councilman. Call me up there.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
She still loves you. Like as much as I remember when you first got on. Oh, more chairs here.
They don't
Some
fit
of
on
those
the
can
thing.
stay
You can
out.
carry them in. Just put them in there. Loose.